Are you recording externally? You're not plugged in.
Oh. Gosh darn it. Hey everybody, my name is Bechu, and here's another episode of What's Up With You. This is going to be a weekly thing from here on out, mainly because I don't see any reason why I shouldn't do it. And after our little hiccup earlier, I recorded an entire first part and my mic wasn't plugged in. You know what's ironic? I just did an entire workshop for audio. In some way, it's tricking my brain into thinking, okay, I've done what I needed to do. Now I can go and do whatever I want to do. So this is what I need to do on a weekly basis. And now I have room to be creative because at the end of the day, whether I do that or not, whether I experiment with it or not, I already have a video ready to go every single day. And so I will let you know next week or the week after that if it works. Hopefully it does. But today's workshop, I believe, turned out pretty well. Talked about audio and I learned stuff as well. Considering I was the one who taught it, I learned a lot more about putting up a workshop, limiting where I should limit. And so now I'm really excited for the next one, maybe in January. Okay, I'm really struggling right now because I really don't want to F this up. It's so ironic because I always tell people that it's okay, but it's always easier said than done. I struggle with staying on the plan. I feel like I have potential ADHD and I have a really hard time reeling in my ideas and my thoughts. And that shows a lot in my process, but it probably doesn't show a lot in my videos because I edit out so many of those parts. So you can just imagine how uncomfortable this is for me right now. Not to be able to edit out parts that I feel are imperfect, and it makes me squirm. The goal of doing this once per week is to inch my way closer to being more comfortable with being real with you guys and showing you a part of what I do, who I am, what goes into my head, and how I process things. And if that turns out to be messy, not perfect, then it's gonna be messy and not perfect, and I'm just gonna have to be okay with it. Whew. What I hope that What's Up With You will have is a little bit of structure, and what goes into that would be I'd love to talk about my week, things I'm grateful for, things I've learned, and things I'm looking forward to. Will I be able to sustain that? I don't know, but I'll put it in my notes, so I'm gonna try. I'm really grateful that the video that I posted last week is another sign that the world is slapping me. And really just telling me in my face that, see, things don't need to be the way that you envision it to be. Everything that you've talked about with your students, everything that you've taught to your friends and to all those aspiring creators out there, that it's okay to be imperfect, it's okay to not have a solid plan, it's still gonna work because what matters is your relationship, or at least you being real in front of the camera. And so this is me trying to be real. I'm grateful that I pushed through with that despite having a really tough week, because it showed me that I can be strong. And it showed me that despite being extremely vulnerable in front of the camera and feeling very, very fragile, I can still be brave through that. Okay, and a couple of things that happened this week that I'm really grateful for is that we celebrated Friendsgiving. The amount of pressure that I feel right now in my chest, and I feel really anxious doing this. I feel like I'm messing up. And I feel like I'm really, really scared doing this, but we're gonna do it anyway. 6 years of making content and it's still like this. So that Friendsgiving was very important, and I'm glad that we pushed through with it, mainly because that was the day that we brought Hayes home. So if you don't know what happened, I talked about it in the previous video, that we lost Hayes. We had to let her go. And that was 1 week since, and we finally got to bring her home. So it was a roller coaster of emotions. A lot to process and still find ways to be thankful for something. So I'm really glad that it still happened despite a roller coaster of emotions. The second thing that I'm really grateful for that happened this week was an extended Friendsgiving wherein a bigger group of our friends in the workplace came over, and then we had a lot of fun. There were like probably 10 of us, maybe. And we played tons of games, and they met our neighbors, our friends. And it was just really fun. So, for an introvert like me who has a social battery, I never thought I would say that I love having them over at my place. And I didn't think I'd be open to it so soon. But I'm really glad that we pushed through, and I'm really glad that I feel like, you know, there's a lot of love that goes around, and I'm really grateful for my friends. Huh. Whew. It's really hard to be vulnerable in front of the camera, man. Third thing I'm really grateful for is a lot of knowledge this week. And that is thanks to the mastermind group that I have, which is also the reason why I'm making this video and why I am committing to putting out at the very least one YouTube video every week. Because this group of friends really inspire me when it comes to wanting to be brave in different aspects of life, especially when it comes to business, when it comes to creating, and when it comes to believing in yourself. But that's it for all of the things I'm grateful for this week. What I learned is things can only turn out two ways. Either you don't try and you never find out, or you try and you find out what happens. And when you try and you find out what happens, it's really just either it works or it doesn't. And it's really applicable to content. And it's also something that I talked about during today's workshop. There is absolutely nothing wrong with failing. And that it is through failure that we learn, no matter how uncomfortable it is. Because if you don't fail, then that means you never really tried. And I have to be completely honest that I am myself for the coming week. I don't know why I'm so anxious. Maybe it's all the pressure I'm putting on myself. But like I said, I have this upcoming trip, and I'm going to France for 10 days. And I can't shake the feeling that I have to make the most out of it, even though my friends tell me that you should take this as a moment to relax. Girl, if I just had a switch I can turn on to relax, I would. But it's still a struggle. The core of it all, I think I really just don't want to up. And that's what scares me, because see, up until now, it's so hard to practice being okay with failing, because I feel like it's such a big thing. It's a once in a lifetime opportunity. When are you going to be in France again? Right? Why aren't you going to make the most out of it? And so on and so forth. And so as early as now, I'm already stripping myself of that happiness and enjoyment because I can't stop overthinking it. But you know what? We're still going to try. And oh my gosh, my next What's Up with Shu is gonna be in France. What? That's insane.